Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plugin School Outlines. I'm Karistina Lafae. My co-host is Tomas each and every week. Thank you, Tomas. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. And I believe Tomas has already shared the link to my YouTube channel. I'm just Karistina Lafae. You can find all my Plugin School recordings on there. Some of them have Notion documents with the text output of the demos we run in class. My screen is on dark mode, so if your screen it looks pink, that's the default for Sudowrite. There's nothing wrong with your screen. It's just I need this for my eyes. So there is not an I forgot to change the text. There isn't an entire category of outline plugins, but we're gonna take a look at a few of them in class. The I recommend having the plugin directory bookmarked. It's very helpful to have that done. If not, you can get to it by clicking on Explore Plugins from a project, or if you are on the home screen, you can get to it by clicking on Plugins right here. It's got the little puzzle piece icon. Now, I put together a list of plugins for outlines that we're going to go through today. I did not get to look too deep into what all of their instructions are. So we're going to be doing that live in class and hoping I have everything set up to do so properly. I think the first one we're going to look at is Quick Start Outline. This one was created by Nicole Broussard, our head ambassador for Sudowrite. It's not used by many people right now. It is minimal credit usage because it uses Mixtral. This plugin will generate a quick overview of your story, including a brief outline and character descriptions. It acts as a starting point for you to flesh out more details at once. It reads your brain dump, style, and genre. You can highlight up to 5,000 words of text, and it will output up to 3,000 words. So I have, oh, what did I do? Okay. I have a story that I'm working on that I thought would be a good place to start because I haven't really started writing it. I did one version of the first chapter for this class's purposes. And right, so we're gonna quick start now. Oh, it works perfectly. So let us see if there we go. There it is. So we get book title. I didn't have a title for it yet, so the Second Chance Song. We're definitely not going to go with that. We have the premise here, Robin Lambert Montgomery, 37 something. Did I put 37-year-old or 30 something? And then I don't know. Famous rock star friend. This is a biker rock star romance, or it will be eventually once I actually write it. Themes of grief, healing, love, and second chances. The main characters include the protagonist. The antagonist is grief. I love that it called that out in here because the antagonist is not a person, it's grief. Supporting characters, other important characters, get a prologue, and then it gives us a brief sentence for each chapter in an outline. 463 words. That's not too bad for a 12-chapter bare bones outline here. And just to see how many credits we're working with, it used 500 and 54 credits, which is pretty good for nice, quick, cheap outline. I should say outline plus because it gave us additional context like the premise, themes, characters. Oh, it says I should have a prologue, which actually would not be a bad way to start this story, and I didn't come up with that. So I might use that later on. So quick start outline, quick, dirty, cheap. Um, Obviously, before you start writing, you're going to want to um, beef these things up a bit, but that's really not a bad start for just determining what's going to happen in each chapter if you want to have a 12 chapter story. Next, we have Better Plot with Story Circle 3 outline. This is actually part of a series of plugins that was created by Elysium. About 30 people use it. It's another cheap plugin to use. It's why these two were the first ones I'm demonstrating because most of the outline plugins I found are really hefty credit usage, very expensive to run, but they should also be pretty robust for our purposes. So we want to have a baseline to compare with what you get from the cheaper plugins compared to what you get with the more expensive plugins that we're going to be demonstrating later. Yes, there's lots of GPT for 32K out there. So for this one, it does belong to a 3-part process, but we're not going to be using the other two plugins in this. If you want to find them, you can search for a Better Plot with Story Circle written just this way, and you can get the other two plugins that go in this series. This plugin will generate a chapter by chapter outline based on a plot breakdown. It's designed to use with the previous stages, um, alternate or alternatively, you can also use this plugin on its own by feeding it a plot breakdown of your story and a synopsis. To use, this is what we're looking for is the instructions. Prepare your plot breakdown on a new chapter so that there's no irrelevant text before the highlighted text. Then make sure you've filled in your synopsis in the story Bible. Additionally, you can write down any additional instruction you would like to give the plugin immediately before the plot breakdown, 500 words max. Highlight your plot breakdown, 2,000 words max. So I'm not entirely sure what they mean by breakdown here. Because I would think that is the synopsis.
This is a third
Yeah.
plugin, so it's expecting the output from number 2. So the first one's probably synopsis, and the middle one is some kind of extended writer's synopsis that takes, fun and games and splits it into 3 things or something. I don't know.
Tomas
Yeah.
shared the links to the other ones. There's like a part 1 that's the plot breakdown, part 2 that's the synopsis, part
Oh,
3.
it generates the plot breakdown in the first thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Ah,
let's well, so I didn't read, like I said, I did not read all of this ahead of time. So let's just see if it will do something by running this without the first 2 steps. Just see if it will give us an outline here. And it's called Better Plot. It's not what we wanted. Oh, oh well. We'll just scroll through here because
Asked it.
yes.
there's like a step up and down on the find.
Oh, here we go. I didn't realize it was searching the plugin menu and the rest of the text so that I could navigate that way. So good to know. Okay. This is pretty detailed.
So what do you think you're giving it? You're giving it a full
This
Bible with or a synopsis?
Yes, this was giving it the synopsis. It just tells me apparently to make sure I have the synopsis filled in. So I think that's all it's looking at is the synopsis.
Doing something with highlighted text too, it looked like.
It
But
said something
yeah,
about
go on.
highlighted text, but um
That was from the other parts of
that was
the
from
other
the other
plugins.
parts. We're just seeing how this works as a standalone, without the first two parts. And all right, this is not too bad because following it's following my synopsis pretty well. The anniversary of Robin's late husband's death is approaching. Um, an old friend who happens to be a famous rock star now shows up um, to invite her to a surprise concert that was recently announced, which is secretly just an excuse for him to come visit her. He dedicates a song to her. Um, her sister, there's a problem with her sister. They don't get along, they're estranged. Gossip blogger gets in the way. And eventually they have their happily ever after. So this is a pretty simple 8-chapter plot that without doing the first 2 steps of the plugin, I'd say isn't too bad. And I could actually plug some of this into the outline that I created on my own using outline generator. But yeah, I'm not unhappy with those results without having done the rest of the steps for this. And I should also look because part of the point was that this was cheap. So 675 credits is not bad for what we got, especially since we didn't do the previous steps, and we got a pretty decent, if short, outline. So then we have I have to sing this because I did as soon as she linked it to me in Discord. Take a blah outline and make it better. And she didn't have Hey Jude in mind, but that's how I heard it in my head. Thanks to Lauren Kaiser, one of our ambassadors. This is a very expensive plugin, all 4 lightning bolts here. That means it's the highest credit usage. This plugin takes a generic outline placed in the document as the highlighted text. So we're going to use that outline that I already have up to 3,000 words and beefs it up, outputting a 24-chapter outline plus prologue and epilogue plus 12 beats per chapter. It looks at brain dump, genre, style, synopsis, and characters. It uses GPT-4 and in her test run to show how much credit usage you can come to expect. It used about 109,000 credits to run this. So this is pretty beefy. And we're going to see what 100,000 credits or so will get us. And also see actually how much it does cost to run this. And this is, I will search for blah. Oh, I gotta get this toolbar out of the way. Okay. So we're gonna look for blah. Nope. Nope. I There we go. Take a blot outline and make it better. Was there anything else did I need to highlight anything? I didn't look at that. For an expensive plugin, I really should double check that. Okay, highlighted text. Yes, we need to highlight the outline. I hate scrolling through here. Don't mind me, it's just me.
Different plugin makers tend to do things similarly across their
Yeah,
plugins. So Lawrence tends to be focused on putting stuff into the document and selecting it before you hit it.
yeah. I tend to do that a lot because it's what I've been kind of conditioned to do since we can't currently have plugins read from and write to the story Bible itself.
Our
So we,
plugins can read from the story Bible, they can't
yes,
write to it.
yeah. So we just tend to, I don't know, maybe other people don't, but I tend to focus on highlighted text when it's the thing that we want to change so that we can change it and then plug it back into Story Bible.
A lot of the early plugins could only do it this way, like for beats and stuff.
Yes, yes. So, okay, we have a better plugin or better outline. Nope. Forgot you can't copy it from there unless you actually hit the copy button first. Copy. And well, we've got some good action beats here to use for our chapter generator, along with the chapter summary that goes in each part, each chapter for the outline. Chapter 3, chapter 4. Okay, so we only got up to 4 chapters for this. Probably, the instructions say between a minimum of 16 chapters and a maximum of 24, but we only got 4 here. So I'm not sure if I noped out of that too quickly. No, because then it would have just given me an error and not let me. Well, this cost 25,754 credits. Like I said, a little more rope than the other ones. And I do like how it gives us action beats, but I think that we're probably running up against GPT-4's output issues. Uh, how many? Okay, how many? How many words was that? So that was 761 words. Um, yeah, I'm not sure why that was so. Uh, just run it. I don't have it outlined. Never mind. I won't run it again right now. I'll do that on my own time later. It might just be a temporary GPT-4 problem with the truncated output. Okay, so then we have one of John's plugins, Brainstorm Outline Haiku. I chose this because we are looking at so many more expensive plugins. There are ones that run on more expensive models, but I wanted some less expensive ones to toss in here for people. Expands the chapter summary from the highlighted text up to 20,000 words to add more details, making creative decisions that help advance the plot of the story from where the preceding text of the story passage left off. It looks at outline, genre, style, characters, and world building. It runs on haiku, and it looks pretty cheap because it's running on haiku. And I really liked the system instructions for this because I did go through this. You're a renowned expert in the field of creative writing and storytelling with a PhD in English literature from Harvard University, etc., etc. So I want
So
highlighted.
this is supposed to actually be used, or the way I use this is
Okay.
if you're writing you've written your first chapter, and after you've written first chapter, you say, oh, now I know so much more about the characters and where they're at. I'm not even sure if the rest of the outline works anymore. I want to see variations on that.
All
So it's
right.
like you put it at the end of the middle of the book, and it will give you an outline for the rest of the book.
That's kind of cool, actually. And I, again, scrolling, I hate this. So I just put my cursor at the end of the chapter 1 text and run it,
Try
or
that.
do I highlight it?
You can highlight an instruction like what you want or a direction
Okay.
you'd like it to go. So you could put a little direction or instruction at the bottom about what you're looking for, and then it should try to give you an outline that matches your instruction but continues the rest of the story.
Okay. Let's see. Don't allow Robin to show too much healing too quickly. That was a problem with the story it generated here. So I'm just gonna see if what it can do with this. We want brainstorm outline haiku. I am just gonna scroll. Nope, that's brainstorm story ideas.
It has a crown on both sides of
Has
brainstorm.
a crown up. Thank
Oh no,
you.
there
I
it is,
did
right
not.
there. No, it's right there. It's the pat.
Yep.
It's a
It
present.
has presents.
And there's a haiku, a sonnet, an opus, and a mixtural of this, I think.
Yes. Five new outline chapters to continue the story, and it jumps ahead to chapter 11, because I asked it not to let her heal too quickly.
Is that
Except
what
this
it's
is
doing?
actually chapter 2. So the chapter numbers are not right here. But
Nope.
because she's at Bookworms in chapter 1. That's the name of the cafe they're at. And she's borrowing a book from the cafe. And she's reading the story. And then
How many chapters do you have in your current outline? Because it may just be resuming from where the last chapter ended.
that could be too. Let me see. My current outline. No, my current outline has 24 chapters.
Never mind.
But it does, let's see. Chapter
Good
12
thinking, though.
is where she visits no. Yeah, is where she visits home and talks to her mother, and her sister shows up and there's problems. So weirdly, okay, it's just a weird glitch where it gave chapter 2 where it says it's chapter 11, but then it jumps ahead to chapter 12 and provides more detailed chapter summaries for the outline for the next several chapters, which I like this and will probably use it. Some of it at least. And
If you're pantsing, sometimes you just need the next chapter
Yeah.
and give it to the
This is-
gods each time.
this is total pantsing on my part. I wanted to make this a story. I had a basic premise to it, and how it gets there, I don't really care as long as it's a good story, a good read. And yeah, we've got for 1,667 credits, we got some good stuff that I can definitely use. So that was Brainstorm Outline, the haiku version, a nice cheap one. There are more expensive ones, which might give different, possibly better results. But next we're going to take a look at Outstanding Outlines, which is a popular one, most likely because it's one of the first plugins that was created. So it was one of the only outline plugins for a while. Here's a detailed prompt that incorporates all the elements you need to create a compelling and detailed story outline, created by Colm Dalton. It's medium high credit usage. It looks at preceding text, highlighted text, brain dump, genre, style, synopsis, characters, and outline. And then it gives a whole bunch of instructions. I'm not sure how this will actually look when we run it, but that's it does want some. I don't know if I really need to highlight any text or not. We're going to try it without. And we're going to put the cursor just at the beginning so we don't have any preceding text. And it's got those emojis. Here we are, Outstanding Outlines. Select at least 10 words. Okay, so much for that. So you know what? I have this that I put together for purposes of a different plugin. This is a condensed synopsis. It's one of those plugins that takes a little while before it starts generating because it's thinking a lot. It looks at a lot of information before it generates the results. So here's a comprehensive 24-chapter outline for your romance novel. So chapter 1, we have the chapter goal, we have an opening hook, we have character focus. Those are not the characters who are in this chapter. Okay. Setting, it made up a setting because the cafe is actually called Bookworms. So, okay, this could probably use an update to it.
Yeah, like the world building cards aren't visible.
Nope. So that's a little frustrating, but it does have a lot of information here, including the resolution of the chapter, character development, foreshadowing, turning points, stuff like that. How many chapters did we get here? Let's expand this so it doesn't take so long to scroll through. Oh, it's still going. It is a
Didn't you say it was
thinker.
giving you 24 chapters?
Yes. Dialogue, passionate, sensual exchanges.
The speed feels like GPT-4 32K.
Yeah,
I thought
it's
this one
giving me
was
the
relatively
vibes.
cheap though, comparison. I didn't think it was a 32K.
Yeah, it wasn't four. It
Oh,
was
okay.
3 out of 4 instead of 4. So,
Maybe it's 4 turbo or 316K.
oh, it cut off just after it got into chapter 22. So we don't have the last 2 chapters, but this gave us a lot of.
You could probably extend this with write,
Oh
just bring it
yeah.
in and just do a
Yeah,
write at the bottom of
definitely.
it.
Um, and just check on the credit usage. Wow, 14,318 credits, which is less than I was expecting for this much information. Um, so yeah, probably not the 32K.
Yeah, not the 32.
As we know, that is far more expensive than this. Okay, so that was outstanding outlines. I'd say this is a pretty good value for what you get for it, although I would probably at this point make a new version of it that looks at the world building cards.
And
Um,
anyone can make a new version because it's been opened by Colm. Thank you,
yes,
Colm.
because the instructions are right here. So, and you could also, try it with different model if you wanted to do so. Um, just making sure you use one with large enough context. So that was outstanding outlines, which I'm liking, but it definitely I need it to bring in world building. And that's one of the things we do in these classes where I'm demonstrating things is determine if something needs to be made a little bit better because we can build plugins as well as use them. Now, deeper outlines, this is a really expensive one. Um, only 5 people are using it, but I wanted to see how this works because it does incorporate world building. This was created by Michael Eason, and I do not need to highlight any text. It's just going to read my story Bible. And deeper outlines. Are And again, this is another, oh, something went wrong. There may be too much or too little text.
This is
So,
32K, and we've been getting this error on some of the 32K plugins recently that bring in a
okay,
lot.
so this is probably just a model error problem that we can't really do anything about today.
Yeah, sorry.
So if you're interested, you can add this plugin and save it to try to use later.
Or make a new one and try to use it with a different
Or
model.
yeah. And it did not charge us because it threw back the error. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Um, but yeah. So here's all the stuff. The instructions are visible, so you can definitely try it with a different model and see how it goes. Twist my outline chapter. I think this is another one of yours, John. Yep. 69 users. Sorry, little immature at the moment because it's my romance novel we're working on. High credit usage. Put as much of your extant outline inside the Story Bible outline. Add instructions up to 500 words for what you'd like the plugin to do to vary or twist the chapter. Put the chapter you'd like to create variations for in the document below your instructions and select it. And looks like we got a review of that. We're going to look at outline, genre, preceding, and highlighted text. And the instructions are interesting. So I have to think of instructions to give it for, go with my chapter 1 here.
Do we want to take bets on whether we get red carded for 32K?
Yeah. We'll see. It says the instruction should go first.
Yes, and
Okay.
select the rest of it. It's
Okay.
it's an earlier one.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do the thing that I did below. Say, Robin should not be healing too quickly because her trauma and grief are still too fresh. Because this, we have our collective triumph, we have our determination, we have all of that stuff in this chapter. Because it's just raw generated stuff. No, we don't want to highlight that. We want to highlight this. Okay. And twist my outline chapter. Looking for a little circus tent, among other things.
Circus tent and a twister.
Yes, and the twister makes sense. Here we are. All my emojis. Oh, too many words selected.
Yeah, it's actually looking for a chapter summary, not a written chapter.
Oh, it's looking for a chapter summary. Oh, okay. That's a lot easier to do then. Don't allow Robin to heal too quickly. That's much easier to do.
And do include the chapter number in there, I think is helpful.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It has to be in a doc. You can't do it from within.
Good to know. Yeah, because you can't just highlight one chapter in your outline for the chapter summary.
Oh, is
in
this a
Story
doc
Bible.
called outline or is it in Story Bible?
This is a doc called outline.
Ah, okay, thanks.
Oh dear, this narrative is seeping with cliches, isn't it? A rock star on a Harley Davidson motorcycle. It's not a Harley, by the way, but that's in world building. It's become such an overused trope in contemporary romance that it's bordering on comical. And let's not forget about Robin, the mourning widow, incapable of moving on from her past love. Oh, yes, yes, yes. It's nice and sarcastic. Yes, it reads more like a melodramatic soap opera than secrecy, betrayal, threats. It feels like we're trying to cram half a dozen different plot lines into one novel. So it gives me. Oh, it wants me to just shift the entire first chapter to the cemetery instead of at the cafe with her friends. Going to an art exhibit. And then humanizing Luke. Robin. Yeah, well, Leslie. Okay, so this didn't actually write an outline? Is it supposed to create an outline? Or is it just supposed to give me commentary?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
The commentary is supposed to be there. I thought it was supposed to create an outline.
Output very unique but similarly constructed chapter summaries that would fit within the construction of the outline. So it decided it had a little mind of its own here. For 29,855 credits.
Yeah, we should try it with a cheaper model and add world building so we get the motorcycle right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, this is feedback for you, John. I do actually like what it suggested for me, but um if I was specifically looking to generate a new outline based on its feedback, it did not do that.
Oh, so I think part of what it's trying to do is only change the chapter that you told it to change, that you're telling it to twist on.
Okay.
It's changing the first chapter with the idea that the rest of the chapters are going to be the same. Or if you did it, if you chose a chapter in the middle, or maybe several chapters in the middle, I think you could do like an act and say that you want to do something to the act, and it would give you the act. I'm
Mm.
not sure if that
It
actually
did give me
fits.
advice for future chapters,
Yeah,
but not summaries for future chapters. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you can take from this what you will. This was Twist My Outline chapter.
Super
It did give
expensive
me,
and not ready for prime time.
apparently, but it did have some good feedback, which I like because, like I said, I'm pantsing this one, and I'm not super dedicated to any particular thing here. Um, and then there was this plugin I saw, Mega Romance Outline, and I was curious how it works. Highlight your brain dump. So that means, do I have a brain dump? I do have a brain dump document here. Because that's how I work on stuff. Highlight up to 5,000 words and hit the prompt button. This will create a mega robust romance 30-chapter novel outline with an epilogue that's broken into 4 parts, like Romance the Beat, with alternating protagonists POV. Each main character will be assigned a Myers-Briggs personality type with detailed physical attributes, strengths, weaknesses, motivations, obstacles, and goals. So, and this is by Abigail Rose, medium high credit usage, probably an older plugin. Despite the last updated May 14th, I think there was another update on the back end of plugins that forced everything to look like it was more recently updated than it was. So we're highlighting our brain dump and looking for mega romance outline. Here we are. All right, here's a 22-chapter outline for the novel, focusing on the intricate, evolving romance between Robin and Luke. All right, these aren't the most detailed chapter summaries. I'm not thrilled with this, but yeah, she does not feel ashamed. She just feels guilty. Um, it's being a little judgy here. It does give me the, like how many days have passed and, like stuff you would have if it was a script, like morning, Robin's house, um, with the time and the setting and everything like that. So I've got some interesting stuff going on. It did follow my brain dump. Um, I'm not overly thrilled with its chapter summaries here, but it's not horrible. Um, I could work with it if I didn't have other things in mind. Um, let's just see. That costs 4,379 credits. So it was not a huge credit expenditure. And it does allow for some thoughts that I might incorporate. Let's see, we are a little less than 10 minutes from the end of the hour. Let's see if we can get through these last 3 plugins I wanted to demo. We have Series Outline, which was created by Ryan Mather, one of our devs, I believe. Is it one of our devs, or is this a different Ryan?
Ryan's the designer.
Thank you,
He
designer. And it's a heavy credit usage one because it's an old, like, OG plugin. It will generate an outline for a series based on your story Bible and or highlighted text. You can see all of the instructions here. It reads highlighted text, brain dump, genre, style, synopsis, characters, and the outline for book 1, which I've already created. And this will use, it's a 2-step plugin. It's using the results of the first prompt to run the second prompt for a full series. So I'm not going to highlight any text here. I'm going to dump it in the beginning of this document. So there's no preceding text. And it's called Series Outline. Because who knows, if I like how the first book goes, I could make it a series. It is something that's intentionally meant to, okay, there might be too much or too little text available for this plugin. Let's see if it needs highlighted text, or maybe I just have too much information in my story Bible for it. We'll check that.
No, you get a different error if you exceed like the highlighted. It'll actually pop up a little box down like at the bottom of your screen that's like,
Oh,
hey,
that's right. Yep. Yeah. Okay. It did not want to run this, which it may also be the model issue that untestable as well. Okay, let's move on to short story outline. Again, for series outline, though it's not working right now, the text is all, the instructions are all visible. So you could take it and make your own and use a different model and see how it works, which I might do later. Because I was kind of excited about the idea of turning this into a series. I like the characters that I came up with. Okay, this one is short story outline created by Nicole. It's very light credit usage. 1 out of 4 here. Uses effective pacing beats to outline a short story. So if this was going to be a short story instead of a whole novel, want to see how this would work. If you want to use the outline as is, you'll need to make sure you have the correct formatting. Reads up to 500 words of highlighted text plus brain dump, genre, style, and characters if filled. And this uses Mixtral as the model. And this is actually why I have the less than 500 words document here, so that I could highlight it and use short story outline. There we go. Did I? It unhighlighted the text on me. Well, let's see how it goes. I might just name it Beautiful Tears, which is the name of a song in the book. All right, short story outline. We got a title, got the genre, themes of grief, healing, love, and second chances. Got the setting, suburban Massachusetts, Boston, and various cities during Luke's tour. Time period, present day, atmosphere, characters, plot, including the hook, inciting incident, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Additional elements. Okay, so this did not give me an outline. I wonder if this was because I didn't have the text highlighted here, so let's try it again. Short story outline. And the whole problem with it unhighlighting my text was because I used the search thing. So that's why I'm scrolling and doing it tediously. Okay, so I, yeah, this is not in outline format either, but it does give me stuff that I could use in the outline, especially with the plot hook, the inciting incident, the action, the climax, falling action, and resolution. Those could go into chapter summaries in the outline. However, it's not quite what I was looking for,
So
as
this
in
whole thing, this whole
creating an
thing could
outline.
go in as a chapter, and then you can
Ah,
reference that chapter and you can just write forward throughout the entire document until you get to the end of the story.
interesting. That would be an interesting way to use that, yeah.
Or you could break it up to be however many chapters you want it to be. Oftentimes there's like a beginning, a middle, and end, or a beginning, a middle, a twist, and an end, something
Yep.
like that.
And this was super cheap. I ran it twice and it was still less than 1,000 credits. The first time when I didn't have highlighted text, unusually, cost 603 credits, while with the highlighted text, it costs 352. So that's interesting. It usually doesn't work out that way.
Number of words
Um,
that output?
but yeah, it must have been the output. Let's check it out. This one was 472 words. And this one was 344. No, I have no explanation for why that worked that way.
Huh.
Just a little weird thing with Mixdrill, I guess. In the last one I found that I thought we could look at. Oh, it's another one of yours, John. Uh, I am pretty much plugin author agnostic when looking for plugins for class. Although if I do happen to notice that like all of the plugins are by one person, I generally try to vary it up a bit. This is another cheap credit one. You can feed this a lot of text and preceding text with a full story Bible. It will attempt to congeal your story as it is set up now into a minimalist one-page outline. So let's see. Core idea, protagonist, turning point, decision, challenges, ending. It looks at preceding text, highlighted text, brain dump, genre, style, synopsis, characters, and outline. And what would you suggest as preceding and highlighted text for use of this one, John?
I rightly don't know. I don't quite remember writing this
Okay.
one. So other than I've been really enjoying what Mixtral's been doing. Mixtral, I can even get to format using the right like the auto write button and using the
Awesome.
style prompt. So yeah, Mixtral is doing cool things. Yeah,
So,
I don't know, maybe give it nothing, just give it your story Bible.
okay, we can do that. No emojis on this one. All right.
Sorry.
Nope, not that one. Mixtural minimalist outline. Different kind of MMO than I'm used to. Okay. One sentence premise. One sentence premise. A grieving widow discovers new love with her late husband's former bandmate. They weren't bandmates, but that's okay, Mixtural. A famous rock star navigating the complexities of grief, guilt, and fame in the process. We have my protagonist, what they want, love, happiness, and healing after the loss of her husband. What's stopping them? Grief, guilt, fear of betraying her late husband's memory, and public scrutiny due to her new lover's fame. Turning point, the decision, the major challenges, and the ending. So that is a very minimalist outline that could be worked into proper outline format.
So you could again use this as a single chapter summary that you just
Yep.
walk through and keep writing, or you could break it into 5 chapters that you expand out with the right button as much as you want to. It's supposed to give you something to pants to that kind of changes up the stuff from chapter to chapter to yeah, because it really when you start a new chapter like that, it really does
Mhm.
take a bit more of a left turn, as
True.
opposed to if you're in the same chapter and you're just continuing on the next and the next and the next. But it is again supposed to be built into a monolithic silo.
All right. Good to know. So yeah, you could definitely use this that way. And write everything in one big document.
Credit usage?
And the credit usage was really minimal, 740 credits. So that was a pretty credit savvy way to do this. And you can expand, I mean, you can use all kinds of tools to expand on this, on anything in here. Yeah. So those are all of the outline plugins I had planned to demonstrate today. I hope you may have found a few that you'd like to use, or you found a couple that you'd like to tweak for your own purposes, try a little something different, because a lot of them did have visible instructions that allow you to take it and make your own plugin with some changes to it to do what you would like. I hope you all enjoyed this class on outlines, because I know a lot of people were looking for information about outlines, and I hope to see you next time.